Line on the local corporate yellow sheet read, "Economic forecast looks rosy." That was January 1, 1998. As the economic position of working people in this country continues its multi-decade slide, such a headline seems a bit fanciful, or just moronic. But then the real news settled in. This same yellow sheet, a Scripps Howard paper, carried another story the next day that read, "Uncertainty clouds U.S. economic prospects in 1998. This somehow seemed a bit more in touch with reality, although Scripps Howard papers are not known for their grasp on reality. A closer look reveals the truth. It turns out that the rosy story had nothing to do with a forecast for 1998. It was an evaluation of Wall Street during 1997. We all know that the wealthy made out like bandits in 1997. I even heard that 1,000 different individuals working on Wall Street were given 1997 year-end bonuses of at least $1 million apiece. I don't know about you, but my bonus added up to, well, let's see here, carry the 0, zip, bupkis. How do you spell bupkis? Anyway, it turns out that the people writing the headlines for Scripps Howard are a bit out of touch, though this is no surprise. I suppose the Washington Times might be even less grounded in reality. It's a tough call. The truth of the matter is that things are falling apart, and those responsible have grown so fat and lazy with greed that they're not likely to do anything to prevent the collapse. I don't think they even could do anything if they wanted to. The system requires greed, so those with the most end up in charge, but it cannot last. The cloudy story, interestingly enough, wasn't on the front page. It was in the business section. They say the business press doesn't lie because money is at stake. The rest of the yellow sheets may be filled with senseless propaganda, but if you look to the business stories there, at least some truth will reside. Anyway, this story quoted some economist from some sort of international banking outfit most of us have never heard of. This guy said, quote, "It would be very foolish to ignore the risks for major economic disruption." Well, major economic disruption in layman's terms means depression. A minor economic disruption would be a recession. All of the analysts seem agreed that global recession is the best case short-term future. It's just that with the instability in East Asia, in particular, the prospects for something more dramatic are even greater. Even this is not exactly news. At the end of 1996, bourgeois economists were saying that there was a serious likelihood of a major stock market collapse during 1997. The factors leading to that conclusion remain, at best, unchanged. Our economy, though, is not really as mysterious as those who write for the corporate yellow sheets seem to believe. This is either because they want us to be confused, or they're just not bright enough to understand it. Our economy is based on what they call right Keynesianism. There was this English guy named John Maynard Keynes who suggested that the only way for capitalism to function over time is for governments to strategically spend money to keep things moving. Capitalist governments today do this through military spending. Arms sales are very profitable, and as such are popular with greedy people. However, because so much of the money for the military-industrial complex goes into corporate profits, not much trickles down to working people where it is actually needed for the stabilization. You see, left to their own devices, capitalists would take everything from working people and the system would collapse. Some form of Keynesianism keeps the maldistribution of wealth from getting too extreme. But if done from the right, military spending, only a very few workers earn enough to survive while most of the money goes into profits. Now you understand the real importance of NATO expansion. It's about getting other countries to buy American-made arms. Capitalism is inherently unstable, and right Keynesianism preserves profits, but only maintains a pretense of helping long-term stability. Thus, our current economic condition contains risks only the foolish would ignore. The big question for 1998 is, who are the fools? Other than the people writing the Scripps Howard headlines, of course. This is Richard Curtis.